hard work, discipline, and hustle. These three elements form the foundation of all meaningful achievement, and yet they've become increasingly unfashionable in our instant gratification society. When I began my journey from struggling farm boy to successful entrepreneur, I discovered something that changed my life. There are no shortcuts to any place worth going. The marketplace doesn't reward wishful thinking. It rewards consistent, focused action performed with excellence. And that's where most people lose their way. They're looking for the elevator to success when the only path is the stairs. I remember working with a young man who kept jumping from opportunity to opportunity, always chasing the next easy money scheme. He'd tell me, "Jim, I'm looking for something that doesn't require so much effort." I had to be straight with him. I said, "The problem isn't that success requires too much effort. The problem is that you've been sold a fantasy that worthwhile achievements can come without significant investment. You see, the truth about success is that it's available to everyone willing to pay the price. But there is always a price. That price is paid in sweat, in study, in sacrifice, and yes, in discipline, maintained over time. What I want you to understand as we begin this journey together is that hard work isn't just about physical labor. It's about intelligent, directed effort. Discipline isn't just forcing yourself to do unpleasant tasks. It's about training yourself to do what's necessary regardless of mood or circumstance. And hustle isn't about frantically chasing every opportunity. It's about bringing energy and urgency to the right opportunities at the right time. Master these three elements, and you'll find yourself achieving goals that others consider impossible. The quality of your life ultimately depends on the quality of your contribution. When you work to become better than you are, you draw out the best in others around you as well. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. I've shared this insight with audiences around the world, and it remains one of the most profound truths I've discovered in my decades of studying success. Look at any goal you've failed to achieve in your life, and I guarantee you'll find a breakdown in discipline somewhere along the way. Not talent, not opportunity, not connections. Discipline, the ability to make yourself do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. That's the cornerstone of achievement in any field. I learned this lesson early in my entrepreneurial journey. When I first started in business, I was enthusiastic but undisciplined. I would work hard when I felt motivated, which meant my efforts were inconsistent at best. My mentor at the time pulled me aside and said something I'll never forget. "Jim, your level of success will rarely exceed your level of personal development, and discipline is the foundation of development." He challenged me to create non-negotiable standards for myself, daily actions I would take regardless of convenience or mood. At first, this structured approach felt constraining, but I soon discovered that discipline doesn't restrict freedom. It creates it. By disciplining myself to make necessary sales calls every day, to study my industry every evening, to manage my finances every week, I built the foundation for financial independence. The beautiful thing about discipline is that it compounds over time. Small disciplines repeated with consistency every day lead to great achievements gained slowly over time. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can accomplish in a year. 5 years from now, you will arrive somewhere. The question is, where? That destination will be determined by the disciplines you embrace today and maintain tomorrow. Some people spend their entire lives wondering how they got where they are. Don't be one of them. Discipline is the defining factor between those who think about success and those who achieve it. Remember, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is, discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. This philosophy transformed my approach to obstacles and has been a cornerstone of my teaching for decades. When I share this with audiences, I often see a moment of recognition in their eyes. Because deep down, we all know that growth comes from challenge, not comfort. Yet so many people spend their energy trying to avoid difficulty, rather than building the capacity to overcome it. They pray for lighter loads instead of stronger backs. They seek easier paths instead of greater skill. Early in my career, I faced a particularly difficult period when my business was struggling. I was working long hours, facing rejection after rejection, and barely keeping afloat financially. One evening, feeling particularly discouraged, I found myself complaining to a mentor about how hard everything seemed. He listened patiently, then asked me a question that changed my perspective forever. Jim, do you think successful people succeeded because their challenges were easier, or because they developed themselves to meet those challenges? The answer was obvious, but I had been focused on the wrong thing. From that day forward, I stopped wishing for easier challenges and started working on becoming better equipped to handle whatever came my way. This mindset shift, from wishing for ease to pursuing personal growth, is transformative in both self-development and money-making endeavors. When you encounter obstacles in your business or career, don't ask, "How can I avoid this?" Ask instead, "What do I need to become to overcome this?" The problem that frustrates you today is developing skills within you that will be essential for tomorrow's opportunities. Challenges aren't barriers to success. They're the forge in which success is created. Remember, it's not what happens to you that determines your future. It's what you do about what happens. The winds of circumstance blow on us all. It's how you set your sail that makes the difference. Motivation gets you started. Habit keeps you going. I've watched countless people begin their journey toward success with tremendous enthusiasm. They're excited, they're inspired, they're ready to conquer the world for about 2 weeks. Then reality sets in. The excitement fades, obstacles appear, and suddenly those grand ambitions seem distant and difficult. This is where most people quit. But the achievers, the ones who actually transform their lives and build wealth, understand that motivation is merely the spark. Habit is the engine that drives sustained success. Let me share something I observed while mentoring entrepreneurs over decades. Those who built substantial wealth weren't necessarily the most talented or the most connected. They were the most consistent. They showed up day after day, rain or shine, mood high or low. They identified the fundamental activities that drove results in their business: prospecting, selling, delivering value, improving their skills, and they performed these activities with religious consistency. I had one mentee who grew his business from 0 to 7 figures in 5 years. His secret? Every single workday, he committed to making at least 20 prospecting calls before noon, regardless of how he felt or what else was happening. That habit, maintained without exception, became the foundation of his fortune. The beautiful thing about habits is that they eventually remove willpower from the equation. Willpower is a limited resource. It depletes throughout the day as you make decisions and resist temptations. But once an action becomes habitual, it requires minimal willpower to perform. It becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth or driving a car. This is why the truly successful don't rely on motivation or willpower to achieve their goals. They engineer their environment and their routines to make success practically inevitable. They don't decide whether to work on their business each day. They've already decided once, and now they just follow the habit. Remember, we first make our habits, and then our habits make us. The question isn't whether habits are shaping your destiny. They are. The question is whether they're the habits you've chosen deliberately or the ones you've fallen into by default. When I talk about hustle, I'm not talking about frantically running around doing busy work. True hustle is strategic intensity, bringing exceptional energy and focus to the activities that actually move the needle in your finances. It's not about working harder than everyone else. It's about working smarter, with more purpose and greater urgency. In my early days selling nutritional supplements, I noticed something fascinating. Those who succeeded weren't just putting in hours. They were putting in intelligent, focused effort directed at the right targets. They weren't just busy, they were productive. Let me share a distinction that transformed my own financial journey. There's a profound difference between being active and being productive. Activity is doing stuff. Productivity is doing the right stuff effectively. I see so many would-be entrepreneurs who confuse motion with progress. They're constantly working on their business, but they're focusing on low-value activities, endlessly redesigning their website, reorganizing their office, or attending networking events without a clear strategy. Meanwhile, the real moneymakers are identifying the vital few activities that generate revenue and ruthlessly prioritizing those tasks. They understand that in wealth creation, certain activities offer exponential returns while others merely keep you busy. Developing a financial hustle mindset means becoming almost obsessive about creating value in the marketplace. Money is simply a certificate of performance. It flows to those who solve problems for others. The bigger the problems you solve and the more people you solve them for, the greater your financial reward. This means constantly asking yourself, how can I add more value? How can I serve more people? How can I solve bigger problems? Then bringing relentless energy to executing on those answers. When others are resting, you're researching. When others are complaining, you're creating. When others are making excuses, you're making progress. This isn't about sacrificing balance or happiness. It's about bringing extraordinary commitment to the activities that align with your financial goals. Remember, exceptional results require exceptional effort. Average effort produces average results every single time. One of the most common questions I receive is, Jim, how do I find the right way to make money? People come to my seminars seeking that one perfect opportunity that will transform their financial lives. But here's what I've learned after decades of studying wealth creation. There isn't one path. There are thousands. The key isn't finding the right path. It's finding the path that's right for you. This means aligning your money-making activities with your natural strengths, acquired skills, and genuine interests. When you do this, work becomes less exhausting and more energizing because you're operating in your zone of excellence. I remember counseling a young man who kept failing at various sales endeavors despite working incredibly hard. After some conversation, I discovered he was deeply introverted and analytical by nature. Yet he was trying to succeed in high-pressure, extroverted sales roles because that's where he saw others making money. I suggested he consider technical consulting instead, leveraging his analytical strengths. Within a year, he was earning 3 times his previous income while working fewer hours. You see, hard work applied in the wrong direction leads to exhaustion and frustration. Hard work aligned with your natural abilities leads to exceptional results and fulfillment. Don't try to be someone else. Be the best version of yourself. Finding your money-making path requires both exploration and elimination. You must be willing to try different approaches while paying careful attention to what energizes you and what drains you. What comes naturally? Where do you lose track of time? What do others consistently praise you for? These are clues to your zone of excellence. Then, you must ruthlessly eliminate paths that don't align with who you are, regardless of how lucrative they might be for others. Remember, the most successful people in any field aren't just hardworking. They're aligned. Their work feels less like labor and more like a disciplined expression of their authentic selves. As I often say, success is not to be pursued. It is to be attracted by the person you become. Become someone who brings extraordinary value in a way that leverages your unique strengths, and financial rewards will naturally follow. If you want to earn more, you must learn more. This simple equation has guided my financial life for decades, and it's never failed me. The marketplace rewards value, and your value is directly tied to your knowledge and skills. Yet I'm constantly amazed by people who expect their income to grow significantly while their knowledge remains stagnant. They'll spend hours watching television, but won't invest 30 minutes in reading a book that could transform their financial future. They'll complain about their income plateau, but won't attend a seminar to learn new skills. This disconnect between financial aspirations and learning habits explains why so many remain stuck despite their desires to advance. I developed what I call the learning discipline early in my career. After my mentor challenged me to become a serious student of success, I committed to reading at least 30 minutes every day on subjects related to personal development, business, and finance. This wasn't always convenient or exciting, but I maintained this discipline regardless of circumstances. While others use their commute to listen to music, I listened to educational audio programs. While others spent evenings solely on entertainment, I dedicated the first hour after dinner to studying my craft. These small daily investments in learning, maintained with discipline over years, created a knowledge compound effect that dramatically accelerated my income. The beautiful thing about the learning discipline is that it creates an ever-expanding gap between you and your competitors. Most people in any field stop their serious education once they attain a certain level of competence. They learn just enough to get by and then coast on that knowledge for years or even decades. But when you commit to continuous learning, to staying on the cutting edge of your field, you develop rare insights and capabilities that make you increasingly valuable in the marketplace. Whether you're an employee, an entrepreneur, or an investor, your income ultimately reflects your contribution. The more you know, the more you can contribute. The more you can contribute, the more you can earn. It's that simple and that profound. Remember, formal education will make you a living, but self-education will make you a fortune. The gap between vision and results is bridged by one thing: disciplined daily action. I've met countless people with magnificent dreams who produce mediocre results. Why? Because they haven't mastered the art of translating big visions into consistent daily behaviors. They have the goal of financial independence, but not the discipline of daily financial practices. They want the body of an athlete, but lack the discipline of regular exercise. They desire the impact of a thought leader, but neglect the discipline of daily creation. Your life doesn't change by intention. It changes by action maintained with discipline over time. When I counsel people about achievement, I always begin by having them clarify their vision, creating a compelling picture of what they want to accomplish. But I don't stop there. The crucial next step is breaking that vision down into specific daily actions that, performed consistently, will inevitably lead to the desired outcome. For financial success, this might mean dedicating 1 hour every morning to your side business before going to work. It might mean making 5 sales calls every day without exception. It might mean studying investment strategies for 30 minutes each evening. The specific actions vary based on your goals, but the principle remains. Success is created by what you do consistently, not what you do occasionally. The challenge, of course, is maintaining these disciplines when motivation fades, when obstacles arise, when results aren't immediate. This is where most people fail. They start strong, but lack the staying power to continue, when the excitement of the new goal is replaced by the monotony of daily discipline. The achievers in life understand that feelings are fickle, but discipline is reliable. They don't base their actions on how they feel that day. They base their actions on the commitments they've made to their future selves. They understand that skipping one day makes it easier to skip the next, so they guard their disciplines vigilantly. Remember, we don't choose our future. We choose our habits, and our habits create our future. Choose wisely, act consistently, and watch as your vision gradually becomes your reality. If there's one guarantee on the path to achievement, it's this: you will face obstacles. You will encounter resistance. You will experience failure. This isn't pessimism, it's reality. The road to any worthwhile destination is never a straight line. It's a series of advances and setbacks, triumphs and disappointments. What separates those who eventually succeed from those who permanently stall is not an absence of obstacles, but a different response to those obstacles. The achievers develop what I call obstacle resilience, the ability to face challenges without losing focus on the ultimate objective. I learned this lesson painfully early in my business career. After 6 months of building my first company, I faced a catastrophic setback that wiped out nearly all our progress. I was devastated and considered quitting entirely. In that moment of doubt, my mentor shared wisdom I've never forgotten. Jim, every master was once a disaster. The path to mastery isn't avoiding failures. It's failing forward, extracting the lesson from each setback and applying it to your next attempt. This perspective transformed my relationship with obstacles. Instead of seeing them as evidence that I was on the wrong path, I began to see them as necessary steps on the right path, each one teaching me something essential that I couldn't have learned any other way. Developing obstacle resilience begins with a fundamental mindset shift. Start seeing problems as growth opportunities rather than stop signs. When you encounter a setback in your business or financial journey, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this challenge make me stronger or more skilled? What adjustments does this suggest for my approach? This transforms obstacles from purely negative experiences into valuable feedback mechanisms. Remember, the same wind blows on us all. It's how you set your sail that makes the difference. Some people let obstacles stop them completely. Others use those same obstacles as stepping stones to greater achievement. The choice is yours, and it's made not once but repeatedly in the face of each new challenge. As I often say, don't wish for fewer problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for fewer challenges, wish for more wisdom. The rewards of discipline are profound, but they're rarely immediate. This delayed gratification is why so few people experience the full benefits of disciplined living. They start the journey but abandon it before the most significant rewards materialize. It's like planting a seed and digging it up every few days to see if it's growing. The truly successful understand that meaningful achievements require patience and faith, continuing to water and nurture your efforts even when results aren't yet visible. But for those who persist, the ultimate rewards extend far beyond financial gain. Yes, discipline will likely make you more money. The consistent application of intelligent effort toward valuable goals almost always results in financial improvement. But the greater rewards are internal. Discipline develops self-respect, that quiet confidence that comes from knowing you can trust yourself to do what you commit to doing. It builds character that attracts opportunity. It creates a sense of personal power that no external circumstance can diminish. I've seen this transformation countless times. As people master the art of disciplined living, they become more intentional, more focused, more capable individuals. Their self-image improves, and with it, their results in every area of life. Perhaps the greatest reward of discipline is freedom. This seems paradoxical at first. How can imposing structure on yourself create freedom? But those who master discipline discover that it's undisciplined living that truly restricts freedom. Financial discipline creates financial freedom. Health discipline creates physical freedom. Time management discipline creates schedule freedom. By imposing beneficial constraints in the short term, you create expanded options in the long term. This is the magnificent payoff for all who stay the course, the ability to design your life rather than merely reacting to circumstances. Remember, discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. Choose the weight of discipline today, and you'll carry the wings of freedom tomorrow. Hard work, discipline, and hustle. These aren't just strategies for success. They're pathways to becoming the person capable of creating the life you truly desire.